I'm Sabrina, and I thought I knew what love looked like, until the night my world turned upside down. Standing in my quiet kitchen, staring at a glass of red wine, I felt the cracks in my marriage to Ethan widening with every silent moment. Our once fiery connection had dulled to embers, leaving me aching for something I couldn't name. But when Ethan whispered in my ear, asking for my trust, and led me into the unknown under a moonlit sky, I had no idea I was stepping into a storm of desire and betrayal that would change everything. What did he show me in that shadowy, ancient villa that left my heart racing and my soul torn? Picture this: a quiet evening, the kind where the world seems to hold its breath, and I'm standing at the edge of my kitchen, staring at a single, untouched glass of red wine on the counter. It's not the wine that's got my attention, though. It's the reflection in it, the distorted version of myself staring back. A woman who's been running on fumes for far too long. My name is Sabrina, and at 33, I've built a life that looks perfect from the outside, but feels like it's unraveling thread by thread every single day. I'm married to Ethan, a man who, at 38, carries the kind of quiet intensity that drew me to him all those years ago. He's the kind of person who can command a room without saying a word, and back when we first met, that strength felt like a shelter. Now, though, it's more like a wall I can't climb over, no matter how hard I try. Our marriage started with sparks, those wild, untamed moments where the world melted away, and it was just us, tangled up in sheets and whispers, exploring every inch of each other in ways I can only hint at with a knowing sigh. Let's just say we knew how to make a room feel like it was on fire without striking a single match. But somewhere along the line, the heat faded into something colder, something routine. The late-night conversations turned into clipped exchanges over dinner, and the way he used to look at me, like I was the only thing that mattered, got replaced by a distant gaze I can't seem to break through. I've spent years trying to figure out where we went wrong, replaying every argument, every silence, like a broken record in my mind. Was it the stress of his job, always pulling him away for weeks at a time? Was it me, burying myself in my own work as a graphic designer, hiding behind deadlines to avoid facing the growing gap between us? Or was it something deeper, something neither of us can name? I don't know when I started feeling like a stranger in my own home, but it's a weight I carry every day. This house, with its pristine white walls and carefully curated decor, feels more like a museum of what we used to be than a place where we live. I walk past framed photos of us smiling on vacations, at weddings, during holidays, and I can't help but wonder who those people are. Were we ever really that happy? Or were we just better at pretending back then? Ethan's side of the bed is often empty now, either because he's working late or because he's taken to sleeping on the couch downstairs, claiming it's more comfortable. I don't argue anymore. I just lie there in the dark, listening to the hum of the house, feeling the ache of his absence like a physical thing. There are moments, though, where I catch glimpses of the man I fell for. Last week, he came home after a long trip, and for a fleeting second I'm standing at the sink, the remnants of dinner still clinging to the plate in my hands, when I feel Ethan's presence behind me. The air shifts, and before I can turn, his arms wrap around my waist, strong and deliberate, pulling me against him. His breath is warm against my neck, sending a shiver down my spine that I can't ignore, even if I wanted to. I pause, the water still running, dripping from my fingers as I hold the plate mid-air. Then he leans in closer, his lips brushing the edge of my ear, and whispers, "I want to show you something new, but you have to trust me. No questions." His voice is low, almost a growl, carrying a weight that makes my heart skip. I hesitate, the cool ceramic of the plate grounding me for just a moment as I process his words. My mind races, curiosity, apprehension, a flicker of something I haven't felt in ages. I set the plate down slowly, the clink against the sink louder than it should be in the quiet kitchen, and I nod. No words, just that silent agreement, though my chest tightens with the unknown. We don't speak as we leave the house. The door clicks shut behind us, and the night air hits my skin, sharp and cool, as we climb into our old sedan. Ethan starts the engine, the familiar hum filling the silence between us, and we pull away from the curb. I glance out the window, watching the city lights blur into streaks of gold and white, the skyline shrinking smaller and smaller in the rearview mirror until it's just a memory. His hand finds mine on the gear shift, his grip firm, grounding me as the world outside shifts. The streets give way to narrower roads, the glow of civilization fading into the distance. Trees start to crowd in around us, their branches arching over the road like skeletal fingers, blocking out the sky. Every now and then, a sliver of moonlight breaks through, casting fleeting shadows across the dashboard. I can feel the tension building in my chest, a mix of unease and something else, something thrilling, like the edge of a storm you can't look away from. I want to ask where we're going, what this is all about, but I bite my tongue, honoring the trust he asked for. My fingers fidget with the hem of my sweater, twisting the fabric as my mind spins with possibilities. Ethan doesn't say a word, his focus on the road, but his hand stays on mine, a quiet reassurance, or maybe a reminder that I've already agreed to this, whatever it is. The landscape outside grows wilder, the forest denser, the road barely wide enough for the car now. My pulse quickens with every mile, the hum of the engine the only sound between us, steady and unyielding. Finally, we slow to a stop, the gravel crunching under the tires. I peer through the windshield and my breath catches. Before us looms an ancient villa, its stone facade crumbling in places, yet as I step out of the car, the ancient villa looms before me, its weathered stone walls bathed in the pale glow of moonlight, looking like something out of a forgotten dream. Ethan takes my hand, his grip steady, and leads me toward the heavy wooden door, its iron hinges creaking as it swings open. The air inside hits me with a musty weight, like stepping into a place where time itself has been trapped for centuries. My footsteps echo on the cold stone floor as we move deeper into the villa, the sound bouncing off the walls in a way that makes my skin prickle. Ethan's silence is heavier now, purposeful, and I follow him down a dimly lit hallway, the flickering light of sconces casting eerie shadows that dance across the faded portraits lining the walls. Those painted faces, with their hollow eyes, seem to follow me, their gazes piercing through the gloom as if they know something I don't. The smell of age clings to everything, old wood, dust, and something faintly sour, like secrets left to rot. We turn a corner, and Ethan pushes open a door, guiding me into a large room that feels strangely warm, almost intimate, despite its size. The scent of rich wine and melting wax fills the space, wrapping around me like a heavy cloak. Candles flicker everywhere, their golden light casting long, wavering shadows across the walls, making the room feel alive, almost breathing. In the center stands a massive bed, draped in dark velvet curtains that seem to swallow the light, its presence commanding and unsettling all at once. I hear the faint clink of a glass somewhere in the room, a sharp, delicate sound that cuts through the quiet, and it sends a shiver down my spine. Ethan's hand is firm on my lower back as he guides me closer to the bed, his voice soft but carrying an edge of authority as he says, "Lie down, Sabrina. Trust me." My body trembles, nerves buzzing under my skin like static, but I nod, sinking onto the bed. The mattress is impossibly soft, the fabric cool against my skin, and I feel exposed, vulnerable, even though I'm still fully clothed. He kneels beside me, and I feel the smooth texture of silk in his hands before he gently places it over my eyes. His fingers are careful, deliberate, as he ties the blindfold, the knot secure but not tight. The world plunges into darkness, and instantly every other sense sharpens. The faint crackle of the candles, the distant drip of wax, the subtle shift of Ethan's weight beside me. It all feels amplified, pressing against me. My breath hitches, and I reach for him instinctively, my fingers finding his hand. He squeezes it tightly, his voice a low murmur near my ear. "I'm here with you. You're not alone." There's a reassurance in his tone, but also something else. Something I can't quite place. Like a hidden promise. Then I hear it. Footsteps. Not just one set, but several. Slow and deliberate. Approaching from somewhere beyond the room. My heart slams against my ribs, each beat louder in the darkness as I strain to listen. The steps grow closer, multiplying, until I'm sure there are many. Too many to be just a trick of my mind. I try to count them, my breath shallow, as the air shifts with the presence of others. 1, 2, 3. I lose track somewhere around 10, but they keep coming. A quiet procession that fills the space around me. My skin prickles with awareness, and then I feel it. A gentle touch on my wrist, unfamiliar fingers tracing a line so light it's almost a whisper. I freeze, my mind racing to make sense of it. Another hand, this one warmer, brushes across my stomach, tentative but bold enough to make me gasp. A voice I don't recognize, low and smooth, murmurs close to me. "You're beautiful." And the words send a jolt through my core, electric and unnerving. I start counting again, not the footsteps now, but the presences, each distinct touch, each breath near my skin, each subtle rhythm of interaction. Some touches are rough, calloused fingers grazing my arm. The room falls into a sudden, almost suffocating stillness, as if the very walls are holding their breath along with me. The echoes of those unfamiliar footsteps have faded into nothingness, leaving behind an emptiness that presses against my ears. The air feels thinner now, stripped of the weight of those unseen presences, and all I can hear is the distant drip of wax from a candle somewhere in the room, each drop a tiny heartbeat in the silence. My own breathing, ragged and uneven, sounds impossibly loud, like a storm trapped inside my chest, betraying every ounce of turmoil I'm trying to contain. I'm still blindfolded, the silk cool against my skin, but it does nothing to shield me from the intensity of what just unfolded. My body trembles, not from cold, but from the raw, electric aftermath of sensations I can't quite name. Sweat beads on my brow, a faint trickle sliding down my temple, and I'm acutely aware of every muscle in my body, tense and coiled as if ready to spring, though I have nowhere to go. The sheets beneath me are cool, a stark contrast to the heat radiating from my skin, flushed and alive in ways I haven't felt in years. Each breath I take feels heavy, laden with the memory of those fleeting touches, those whispered words that still linger like a phantom caress. My mind is a chaotic whirlwind, replaying every moment, every brush of a stranger's hand, every murmur that sent shivers racing down my spine. Shame creeps in, sharp and biting, as I think about how I surrendered so completely, how I let myself be carried away on a tide of desire I didn't even know I was capable of feeling. But there's something else there too, something unexpected. A strange, quiet pride in having let go, in having discovered a part of myself I didn't know existed, a part that craved the unknown and reveled in it. Ethan's presence beside me is the only anchor in this storm of emotion. His hand is still in mine, his grip firm yet gentle. A silent vow that he hasn't left me, not even after everything. I can hear his steady breathing, a calm rhythm that contrasts so sharply with my own erratic gasps. Every so often, I feel the bed shift slightly under his weight, a subtle reminder that he's right here, watching me, though I can't see him through the darkness of the blindfold. His thumb moves absent-mindedly over my knuckles, a small, tender gesture that feels like a lifeline, but also a question. Does he mean to comfort me, or is he just as lost in thought as I am? I can't help but wonder what's going through his mind. Is he replaying the same moments I am, feeling the same mix of exhilaration and uncertainty? Or is there something darker there? A regret or anger I can't sense through the barrier between us. My heart pounds harder with every passing second of silence, the quiet stretching taut like a wire ready to snap. I want to speak, to ask him what he's feeling, to know if I've shattered something between us that can't be mended. Did I fail some unspoken test by giving in so completely to the rush of the unknown? Or does he feel it too? This strange, intoxicating energy that still hums through my veins, making me feel more alive than I have in years. The questions pile up, each one heavier than the last, and I'm caught in a tug-of-war between guilt and liberation. I think back to the life we've built, the years of routine and distance, and I wonder if this moment, as reckless as it was, might be the key to something new, or the final crack that breaks us apart. My fingers tighten around his, seeking some kind of answer in the warmth of his skin, but he remains silent, his thoughts a mystery I can't unravel without seeing his face. The weight of not knowing is almost unbearable. I've always prided myself on being able to read Ethan, to catch the flicker of emotion in his eyes, or the subtle shift in his posture. But now, stripped of sight, I'm adrift. I can still feel the echoes of those unfamiliar hands, the way they explored with a boldness that both thrilled and, as the silence lingers, heavy and charged, I feel Ethan's fingers brush against the edge of the silk blindfold. My breath catches, anticipation and uncertainty swirling in my chest like a storm waiting to break. Slowly, deliberately, he begins to untie it, the fabric slipping away with a whisper against my skin. It's a gradual release, each tug of the knot loosening the darkness that's held me captive. My eyelids flutter, struggling against the sudden intrusion of light, even though it's just the dim, golden glow of the candles scattered around the room. At first, everything is a blur, a haze of flickering shadows and soft amber tones that dance across my vision. I blink rapidly, trying to anchor myself in this newfound clarity, and then, finally, my eyes adjust, and there he is. Ethan's face comes into sharp focus, mere inches from mine, illuminated by the warm, wavering light. His expression steals the air from my lungs. His brows, usually so tightly furrowed with the weight of the world, have softened, as if some invisible burden has lifted. Those hazel eyes of his, reflecting the tiny flames around us, hold a depth I haven't seen in years, a searching intensity that seems to pierce right through me. There's a faint tremor in his jaw, a subtle sign of emotion he's holding back, as if he's teetering on the edge of saying something profound, but can't quite find the courage. He looks so vulnerable in this moment, like he's stripped away every layer of armor and is baring his soul to me, raw and unfiltered. My heart clenches at the sight, a mix of awe and tenderness washing over me. I've always known Ethan to be strong, unyielding, but right now he's letting me see something deeper, something fragile. His voice breaks the stillness, low and steady, each word chosen with care. Now you know I'd do anything for your desires. Next time, you can choose, even all at once. There's a pause before next time, a heavy, deliberate gap that hangs in the air, loaded with implication. It's not just a statement, it's an offer. A door cracked open to possibilities I hadn't dared to imagine until now. The idea of choice, of having that power, feels both empowering and daunting, like standing at the edge of a cliff with the wind urging me to leap. His words crash over me like a wave, washing away the lingering doubts and fears that have been gnawing at me since the moment those unfamiliar presences surrounded us. This wasn't a mistake in his eyes, not a betrayal or a misstep. It was an act of love, a willingness to push beyond the boundaries of what we've known, all for the sake of my happiness. I can hear the sincerity in his tone, feel the weight of his devotion in every syllable, and it shakes me to my core. Inside, a flood of emotions surges through me, each one vying for dominance. There's guilt at first, sharp and cold, for letting myself be swept away by the tide of sensation, for indulging in something so far outside the lines of what I thought our marriage could hold. But as I look into Ethan's eyes, that guilt melts into something softer. Acceptance. I see now that he doesn't judge me for it. He orchestrated this, guided me through it, because he wanted me to feel alive again, to rediscover a part of myself I'd buried under years of routine and restraint. Awe blooms in my chest, warm and expansive, at the sheer selflessness of what he's done. How many people would go to such lengths, would risk so much, just to see their partner awaken to their own desires? And beneath it all, there's a spark of curiosity, flickering like the candlelight around us. Next time. Those words echo in my mind, teasing at the edges of my thoughts. What could that mean? What other uncharted territories might we explore together? The possibility sends a shiver down my spine, not of fear, but of something thrilling, something hungry for more. I don't speak. Words feel inadequate for the magnitude of what I'm feeling, for the silent understanding that's passing between us. Instead, I reach out, my hand trembling just slightly as I rest it on Ethan's cheek, feeling the warmth of his skin under my fingertips. It's a small gesture, but it carries everything I can't say. Gratitude, love, a quiet promise that we're in this together no matter where it leads. His eyes flicker with something unspoken, and for a moment, we just sit there, the weight of the night settling around us like a blanket, heavy but comforting in its own strange way. As dawn creeps closer, we finally rise from the bed, the velvet curtains brushing against my arm as we move toward the door. The villa feels different now, less like a place of mystery and more like a chapter that's closing behind us. The heavy wooden door creaks loudly as we push it open, the sound echoing through the silent hallway, a final note in the symphony of the night. Stepping outside, the cool morning air bites at my skin, sharp and invigorating, waking me from the haze of everything that's transpired. The first light of day is just breaking over the horizon, painting the forest in soft grays and golds, the trees standing like silent sentinels guarding secrets of their own. I glance back at the villa, its stone walls now bathed in the gentle glow of dawn, and I see Ethan at the gate, his tall frame a shadow against the rising sun. He gives a single nod, his face as unreadable as ever, a stoic farewell that feels like the end of a silent pact. Then he turns, fading into the shadows of the estate, leaving us to our journey home. Ethan and I walk to the car, the gravel crunching underfoot, each step grounding me back into reality. We climb inside, the familiar scent of the old sedan wrapping around me like a memory. He starts the engine, the soft hum filling the space between us, a steady rhythm that soothes the lingering chaos in my mind. As we pull away, I watch the villa shrink in the rearview mirror, its ancient silhouette swallowed by the forest until it's nothing more than a ghost of the night. The drive home is quiet, but it's not the strained silence of unspoken resentment or distance. No, this is something else. Comfortable, almost peaceful, like we've crossed a threshold together and are now content to just be side by side, letting the moment breathe on its own. The rising sun glints off the windshield, casting fleeting rays of light across the dashboard, and I find myself mesmerized by the way it dances, fleeting and beautiful. Ethan's hands are steady on the wheel, his focus on the winding road ahead, but there's a calmness to his posture, a quiet strength that reassures me. I steal glances at his profile, the sharp line of his jaw softened by the morning light, and I can't help but marvel at the man beside me. He's always been my rock, even when I couldn't see it through the fog of our struggles. And last night, he proved just how far he'd go to reignite something in me, in us. My mind drifts back to the villa, to that room with its flickering candles and velvet shadows, to the way I let myself surrender to sensations I'd never dared to explore before. I betrayed him in that space, over and over, giving in to desires I didn't even know I harbored, letting myself be swept away by the tide of the unknown. And yet, as I sit here now, I feel no shame, no regret. Instead, there's a profound sense of liberation, a joy in having peeled back layers of myself I'd buried under years of routine and restraint. I loved every moment of it, every forbidden whisper and fleeting touch that painted my world in colors I didn't know existed. I think about how that night shattered everything I thought I understood. Boundaries, love, even my own identity. It was as if I stepped outside of myself, saw who I could be when I let go of fear. And I liked that version of me. More than that, I'm struck by Ethan's acceptance, the way he stood by me through it all. Not just allowing it, but encouraging it, guiding me into that uncharted space with a trust I didn't know he had. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.